So let's get started. Welcome everyone to our Q4 meetup. Let's get started. So the first news I want to share with you guys is Manisha Jang has joined our Fairfield County Tableau user group leadership team. Welcome Manisha.
Thank you, Kathy.
She was the winner of our hackathon, but I will leave the stage to you to give to share your story with the team and also share to do a quick introduction as well before our meeting.
Yeah, thank you so much. Actually, I want to thank you and all the other members to giving me an opportunity to be a member of this group. So before becoming a member as an audience, I got the opportunity to participate in the first Tableau hackathon of this group. And I learned a lot while performing at that hackathon. And apart from that, it also built my confidence in using Tableau. And I've been attending the meetings of these group from the last year. And due to this, it's actually helping me by keeping me updated in all the new changes which are happening in Tableau and new technologies which is getting added. So yeah, I'm really thankful for making me a member of this group. Thank you so much.
Welcome, Manisha. Glad to have you on the team.
Thank you.
Let's get started. Manisha, would you like to go to the next slides?
Sure.
So today we will cover a Tableau Conference 2021 highlights. Those highlights were picked by me. I feel those are the really useful tips and tricks to learn, and also really great panel discussion to go through as well. And also then we will cover the Tableau certifications, which includes the specialist, data analyst, and server certified associates, and also share some resources and tips. And lastly, we'll open for questions and how to stay connected with the group. Okay, so we had our TC21, and there are two sessions I found really helpful. One is called the Speed Tips. It's always been my favorite. It will give you a really quick introduction on some shortcuts and tricks for all skill levels within 30 minutes. So this year they cover the lookup functions to keep the results of the table calculation. So it's regardless of the level of the filter. So you can use the lookup to remain that filter functionality to have the table calculation in the same level. And you also have the feature like how you can zoom in the line chart, and also how you can customize your number formatting with the ETF angle. So you will actually have the trend angle up and down to show when you have the number to indicate whether it's negative or it's a positive. And you also have the tip and tricks on the dark mode dashboard, how you can create that easily. And another one, also a tips, but it's more on the better dashboard design part, like how you can include a transparent shape to highlight a point, and also create the band cards in a second, and how you can make it more visible and highlight it to the end user. And also it included some bar chart, stick bar chart tips, and scatter plot and hex map. So both videos are available on demand right now, and it's within 30 minutes. So go ahead, check it out if you're interested and you missed it from the TC21. Next slide, please.
Elaborate on band cards, Kathy.
Sorry, I didn't hear.
Can you just elaborate on band cards?
Sure. So the band card is like the KPI card. Like you will have in total, how much, how many sales that you have, and just summary cards at the top, like how you can easily create that, and also how you can filter all together with the dashboard action. So some tips and tricks on the band card.
Like tiles.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So just remembered it by a different name. There's also banding on reference lines, reference.
Yeah, so I found that those tips and tricks are really helpful. Like when I apply some of those, like I had the same question, but I end up doing it with more complex way. And there actually has a shortcuts to accomplish the same thing. And another
Anyone else
highlight.
have any questions on the last slide? Sorry, just in case anyone else in the group had any questions, because there was a lot on the slide. I'm glad to see that they put in, for those that don't know, the UTF-8 triangle, so being able to format without making a custom calculation is useful. You know, probably saves you a few minutes or more, depending on how many triangles you have to put in there. Sorry to interrupt.
No problem. Next. Yeah, so another highlights that I want to share with you guys are two panel discussion that I found really interesting, and actually are the most panel like discussion that I feel intriguing from the past TC21. One is empower the store with real-time retail intelligence. This is the panel discussion on the real-time retail intelligence. Like they covered, the panelists are from Snowflake, Tableau, and Slalom, and also Salesforce. So they teamed up and provide like their point of view, like how they see the technologies and how those different systems are integrated together to help the industry to evolve at the speed of the consumption. And another really good panel discussion is the women in the manufacturing who are empowering a data culture. This is a panel discussion on how to drive data culture within organization. So those panelists share their own stories, like how they drive their organization to a more data, like modern data culture, and also like what is the result that they have seen from the effort that they've made. So you will learn a lot, like what kind of efforts from different people and from different organization, and they had a really interesting discussion point from this as well. So those are the TC 2021 highlights that we gathered for you, and we will share the slides afterwards, so you can click the line there and to see the on-demand video directly. And now let's go to our meet today, which is our certification workshop. Before going to that, I want to launch a poll for you guys to answer. Let me know when you can see the poll, and this is just asking like how much hands-on experience you had with Tableau desktop and also with the Tableau server. So we can help you figure out what type of certification would best fit your needs, and are you be able to are you ready to take the test?
I think everyone's weighed in, except for, I don't think the four of us can weigh in.
Oh, so only the participants can
Yeah.
select? Okay.
So it's interesting. A metric fail on the part of, or the three of us, I should say. Two of us? Oh, maybe it's just me. 2 questions. And 10 of 11.
Looks like we have 10 folks have entered.
Oh, because we have 14 participants, so 11 is everyone but the 3 of us who are hosting. Okay.
Okay, let me end the poll and share the results. Will you be able to see the results? This is my first time to use this feature, so bear with me. Are you guys seeing the results as well, or you guys cannot see like the end result that I actually need to share my screen? Can you guys see?
I can see the results anyway.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so we have 80% person having 1+ years experience. Awesome. And we have a few folks 0 to 3 months. That's great. We're happy to see you here. And later on, Manisha will introduce like different resources for you to learn and to grow, to be ready for the Tableau desktop certification. And it looks like we have half and a half on the Tableau server. 0 to 3 months and 1+ year. No one in the middle stage, 6 months to a year. Yeah, I'm in the middle. Like I use the Tableau server like 3 to 6 months this year. Awesome. So I will.
Tough year for learning.
Yeah.
That's why there's no one in the middle. But it's interesting that half the people, it was more of a split on server.
We have more folks.
Depends on the size of the companies.
Yeah, we have more folks on the desktop experience. Let me stop sharing and I will hand it over to you.
Thank you, Kathy.
Manisha.
Thank you. So here I will just give an overview of the certification first, that how many certifications are available. So right now there are like 5 types of certifications which are available in Tableau. That is Tableau Desktop Specialist, Tableau Certified Data Analyst, Tableau Server Certified Associate. Then there are 2 exams, that is Tableau Certified Associate Consultant and Tableau Certified Associate Architect. So as you can see, like most of our group members have completed a couple of these certifications. So the top 3 certifications can be done by individuals, and the bottom 2 certifications are mainly for the Tableau partners only. So in this presentation, we'll be mainly covering the top 3 certifications in detail. So the first is the Tableau Desktop Specialist certification. This certification is actually good for those people who have 0 to 3 months of experience, as our poll says. So if you're new to Tableau, this certification is good for you as it focuses on fundamental skills and understanding of Tableau Desktop. As you can see, the price of this certification is $100 and the exam can be taken online. It's a proctored exam. In terms of required prerequisites, it's none, but then it's good to have like a 3 months hands-on experience. It's a 1-hour exam, which has almost 45 questions with multiple choice and multiple response. Multiple response questions usually have a higher weightage, and the passing score of this exam is 750. The best part of this exam is that there is no expiration of the exam. So if you give this exam, it's good that it's not going to expire soon. We have also attached the exam prep guide. So once we share the slides with you, you can click on this and can go through this in detail. In terms of the, so this is like the outline of the exam. As you can see here, almost in domain 1 and domain 2, that is connecting to the Tableau and how to load the data and preparing the data, has a 25% weightage, and exploring and analyzing the data is 35%. Sharing insights, so how you make a dashboard or a story in Tableau and how you show your visualization, has 25%. And understanding the Tableau concepts, that is the product in terms of, is like 15%. Just to give you an overview of the exam, how the level of questions are going to be. These are some couple of questions. These are some basic questions. So the first question is like default aggregation in Tableau. How does it happen? So there are like 2 questions. And the first question is like whether it's sum or average. So you have to choose between that and whether it can be changed or not. So it gives you like 4 multiple choices and you have to select like 1 choice in this. The second question is a bar chart is converted to stack bar chart by adding what? So either you add 2 measures or you just add 1 measure, dimension, or it cannot be determined. So these are some basic questions which can be asked in Tableau. These are some sample questions. Now, blue and green in Tableau, this is like a very basic question and a very common question, which most of the time I have seen, and like I have given a couple of sample papers. So yeah, this question is very frequent. Now, the next exam is Tableau Tableau Data Analyst Certification. It's the beta version. This is, I mean, it's mainly more for the people who are more into data exploration and analysis and creating good visualizations to find the answers to the business questions, to key business questions. So if you want to give this exam, this is the right time, as there is an offer that this exam is till the end of the year is costing just $199 instead of $250. That's the actual price. Yeah, this exam is also an online exam. It's proctored, and the suggested product experience here increases from 3 months to 6 months. The desktop specialist and exam, the first exam has like 3 months plus, and this exam is like 6 months plus. So most of the folks here as have 1 year plus experience, and if you're interested, you can think of giving this exam. So it's like this exam is of instead of 1 hour, it is of 150 minutes, and the number of questions are 70 questions in total, and 59 are the knowledge-based questions. That is the multiple choice questions. And then there is like a one hands-on lab experience, which has 11 items. So you actually perform, you will be given a data, you actually make the visualization, and on the basis of that, you answer the 11 questions. The passing score here also is 750, and the validity of the certification is 2 years. In terms of the
one thing that I want to add on is because it's a beta, like a version, like it's not an official, although it's with a lower price, the result is not like provide you like right after. It will wait for a few times, usually like a week, and then you will receive the final results of your exam.
Yes, thanks for adding that, Kathy. So as you can see in the content outline for this exam, as the exam name says, it's a data analyst certification. So you can see that 40% of the weightage is given in exploring and analyzing the data, as compared to the first exam, that is the desktop specialist, where the weightage was mainly in connecting to Tableau, preparing your data, and then exploration. So here, most of the weightage is for exploring and analyzing the data, creating content, and then publishing it. So when it comes to creating content, how your visualizations are, what are the best ways to make a dashboard, how efficient you can make it. These things would be covered in this content. This is one of the sample questions which we have for the Tableau Data Analyst certification. So there is a data set which is given to us. And then the question is, which formula should we use to get the number of items in the equipment list? And we have 6 options here. So
let's pause here. Yeah, let's pause here and give a few minutes to the audience to toggle down the questions, and you guys can type in the answers in the chat box. Go ahead, Manisha. Sorry, I just want to highlight.
Yeah, I can pause. They can read the question and can see the options as well. I'm not able to see if people are answering. Can you see, Kathy?
No, I haven't seen anyone typing the answer like in the chat box as well. It's maybe can you read out read through the question just in case?
Yes. So you have a data set that contains a list of gym equipments and the exercises that use them. Which formula should we use to get the number of items in the equipment list?
Count of equipment, right? Number 2, right, Manisha? Manisha, so what is the difference between number 3 and number 6? They're pretty much same.
Yeah, that's what I'm checking. I think there is a
And they are the
mistake.
same.
That's
Yeah,
probably
and
a typo.
Yeah, that's what I'm checking. 3 and 6 options are same. I just checked it. My
Yeah.
bad. I'm sorry.
So my answer would be number 2. I may be wrong.
Yeah,
Yes. So okay, I'll wait.
yeah, let's wait. I can see some folks just typing right now. 2, 3, or 6. Yes, 3 or 6.
Actually, 3 and 6 are correct. So yeah, good observation.
Yeah, we have folks just answered 3 or 6 or 2. Yeah, go ahead.
Should we go back to the previous certification sample questions also, and then have people look at those questions and then try to answer?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's cover this first and then we can go back to the practice. Okay, so the correct answer is 3 or 6. Yeah, so the reason why it is not number 2, I see some folks also answer number 2, is because, sorry, go ahead.
Is it distinct?
Yes, because if you use count, then you will count each time, like it, so it will result in like over counting problems. That's why, yeah, it's 3 or 6. Cool. Yeah, let's go back to the previous one.
Yep. So we can start with the first question. That is default aggregation and Tableau, and can it be changed?
Yes, we see a few folks answered some. Yes, the default aggregation in Tableau is some, and it can be changed to others. So whenever you drag and drop the field, it will change the default aggregation to the one that you set up. Manisha, can you see the chat box, like from your end?
Yeah, I have to, 1 second. Can you see it now?
No, like as long as you can see, that's fine. Like I can see from my end.
Thank you for joining.
Yep, now I can see.
Okay, perfect.
Yes. There are 2 people who have answered the first question. Yes, it is some, and yes. So the answer is last one. That is the default aggregation Tableau is some, and yes, it can be changed. So we can move to the next question now. The next question is, a bar chart is converted to stacked bar chart by adding what? 2 measures, measure, dimension, or can't determine. Yep, I can see 1 person have answered yet.
Yeah, we got 2 responses so far. So can't determine, that's one. And number 2, measure is the second response.
Yeah, this one is a little bit tricky. Like this question is asked like a bar chart is converted to stack bar chart by adding. So if you're adding a dimension, then it will stack together. Like if you have different regions, United States, Mexico, Canada, then you will see a different measure. So it's not asking like, oh, how you compose to the stack bar chart, but it's asking like how you can convert from a bar chart to a stacked bar chart by adding dimension. But the correct answer is C, the dimension. Any questions on this one? No, let's move.
So the
Let's
next
go
question.
ahead.
Yeah, I'll read it. Blue and green in Tableau means what? Dimension and measure, discrete and continuous, continuous and discrete, measure and dimension.
I remember this question. I actually had this question. When I went to the specialist certification, I had this question, and I actually think for a while, and then I validate my answer when I go back to the Tableau desktop. When I sit for the specialist, I always use those features, but I never noticed like the color from, and then I validate it. Okay. From the desktop.
Yeah, and during the exam, you get an opportunity to look at some of these things by opening a Tableau workbook, and you can verify your answer. What exactly is blue versus what exactly is green? That way you can confirm your answer also. So it gives you an ability to do that.
Exactly. Yep, we see some folks answered. Yep, the correct answer is discrete and continuous.
Continuous.
Yes.
And the fourth question is, to switch a set to list the individual members, what are the options? Delete the set to view the individual members. In the visualization workspace, select show members in set. Not possible to view individual members at all. In the visualization workspace, right-click the set and select show members in set. So there are 4 options.
Like Manish mentioned, like if you're not sure, like you can just mark that question, and then later on when you open the workbook, you can validate your assumption on that and make sure that you select the correct one.
You can also type in just the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 in your answers. So that will be easier. We have 1 response so far.
Yep, another one. Yeah, if you look at the option 2 and 4, almost the same, only have one additional steps. Right click the set and select the show members in set. I think that's the tricky part.
Yeah, I think as Monish said, I think I got this question in my exam and I literally had to do it and see what's the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these questions are like that, where you have to just come back to them, cross-verify, and then confirm that that's the answer. So yeah, you have that opportunity.
But that's a good part in the exam, that you can keep those questions on hold and you can keep moving forward for the questions you know it. And then in the end, whenever you have extra time, you can just go back to those questions again.
Yep.
Yeah, the correct answer is 4. So although we all remember, like in the visualization workspace, we need to select the show members instead, but in order to have that option, we need to right click the set and then click the show member. Otherwise, they won't know like which set that you want to show members. You want to convert to the list. So the correct answer for this one is number 4, the last option.
I'll just move forward now with the next certification. So as I've already covered the first two, Monish, would you be able to cover this one?
Sure, I can cover this. So similar to how Monisha covered the first 2 certification, one was for Tableau Desktop Associate certification, and then the second one was the new one that is launched. We also have a certification on the server side. So people who have worked on the server, on Tableau server for at least maybe 6 or more months, they can take up this certification also, because just like dashboard, Tableau server is also a key aspect of knowing Tableau in and out. So the price for this certification is $250. It's slightly more than the other 2 certifications that we saw. The exam type is pretty much same as what we saw earlier. It's an online and on-demand sort of exam. Tableau says that we really don't have any specific prerequisites here as well, but the suggested work product experience, as I mentioned, should be about 6 months. So at least you are familiar with how do you install Tableau desktop or on Tableau server, and then how you work with all these things on Tableau server. So the total allocated time that you get to complete this exam is 90 minutes. And the version that will be used, so the exams will be looking at the Tableau version 2021.1 to have most of their questions based on. And there will be 55 questions overall that will be asked. And again, similar to the first 2 types of certifications, these will be multiple choice and multiple response kind of questions also. So on the sample question that we saw, that Mauricio walked us through, we saw pretty much just 1 response that we had to give, but there will be some questions where they might be giving you 4 choices and you may have to pick 2 or more than even 2 choices there. So multiple response questions will also be there. And you have to get 750 score to have this certification. So the passing score is 750. And this certification also is valid for 2 years. So on this slide, we have the exam prep guide. So it's a Word document that we'll be sharing with you after this presentation is done. And then you can look into it and then you'll understand all the things that are needed to have this certification and prep for this certification. Okay. Next up, we have the different content that you need to prepare for. So there are 5 key domains that you have to look into for getting this associate server certification. The first one is server prep, which is about 20% of overall exam content. Then next one is installation and configuration, which is about 25 to 26% of overall exam content. Then administration, which also includes security, user access, and a bunch of other things. That is given a lot of weight here, which is about 36% overall. Then in case of something going wrong on Tableau server, extracts failing or something else may be happening. So how do you troubleshoot for those particular issues is also given 12% weightage. And then you also have to understand how you migrate from one environment to another environment and how do you upgrade multiple Tableau versions. And it has been given 6% weightage. So that overall combines and gives you the overall 100% coverage there. Any questions on these two slides before we move on to some sample questions for you guys? Okay, we can go to the next slide. So two sample questions that we have included, and when you go through the preparation material, you will find a bunch of additional questions also. So on Tableau guide itself, Tableau prep guide, you get about 8 to 12 questions that you can look into and then give answer to those questions. And then you'll understand whether you have got all the 8 or 10 correct, or there are some things that you have to revisit on. So similar to that, we have included two sample questions here. The first one is, what's the minimum requirement around having the RAM size for a product installation of Tableau server? So the options for you are 8 GB, 16 GB, 32 GB, and 64 GB. So what do you think is the minimum amount of RAM you should have to have a successful product installation on Tableau server? We have one answer so far, 16 GB. Anybody else? Craig also says 16 GB. All right, so the correct answer for this is C, 32 GB. So you need to have 32 GB as the minimum amount of RAM for a product installation of Tableau server. Okay. This is a question that gets frequently asked also. So similar to this, there might be some other requirement related questions. What do you need to have as a bare minimum requirement to have that Tableau server installation? Okay. Next question we have here, a sample question is, what user interactions use the data server? And the 4 options that you have here is, the first one is when a user publishes a workbook that uses a data extract. Second is when a user publishes a data source. Third one is when user creates a workbook from a Tableau server data connection. And the last one is when a server administrator assesses an administrative view. So which of these 4 options do you think is the right answer? Number 2 is one of the answers that we have received so far. Anybody else? A, that is when a user publishes a workbook that uses an extract. Any other answers? All right, so the correct answer for this is also C, when user creates a workbook from a Tableau server data connection. All right, so some of these questions you might find tricky, and as we mentioned earlier, you do have an opportunity or an option to flag some of these questions that you want to come back and maybe revisit at the end of answering all the other questions. So you have that option, so definitely you should make use of that. We can go to the next slide now. So on this slide, we have collected some key resources for you. All of that is available on tableau.com, Tableau's website. So We have free official training videos. So that's the first link that we will be sharing with you all after this session is done. Then Tableau practice exams. So we all would highly recommend you go through multiple practice exams before attempting for your final exams, because that helps a lot. We have seen that, having taken a few certifications myself too, that going through practice exams will give you an ability to judge where your skills are. Are you ready for that exam or not? So please make use of these Tableau practice exams, and the link is already included in here. Then for each of these 3 certifications, we have included the exam guides. So we have PDF documents that you should go through. It will have a list of all the different domains, subjects that you have to cover, and the weightage given to each of those domains, and few sample questions also included on those Word documents or PDF documents. Okay. Then you have some online help also available. So you can go to tableau.com/support/help to go through those tutorials, training videos, or any white papers that will help you prep for these exams, certification exams. Then a few things that you need to have on your local machine from where you will be giving this exam, right? So on exam day, you must make sure that you have at least 3 Mbps of download and upload speed. And a minimum requirement on your machine's RAM is having 4 GB, because that's basically the minimum requirement that Tableau suggests that you have. And what you can do is, before attempting for this exam, maybe half an hour back, or maybe even few hours back, you can check what's the network speed at the moment, and that will give you a good understanding of your download and upload speed, and you'll be ready for that exam. Any of these web browsers, so Edge, Safari, Chrome, and Firefox should work, but you should look to have the newest versions of these browsers on your machine. Then this will be a proctored certification exam. So you need to be on video all the time. So, and you have to make sure that your webcam has a minimum resolution of 640 by 480. That's the minimum resolution requirement there that they have. And then Tableau also recommends that you run the Pearson VUE system test before the exam day. So one day before the exam, you should run that Pearson VUE system test that will check a lot of different things, and it will make sure that you meet all the requirements that is required for the actual exam. So these are all the required setup that you need to have on your machine. Any questions before I move on? Right. So just some of key exam tips on the exam day. This check-in is available 30 minutes before and 15 minutes after your scheduled appointment. So please make sure that you log in before 30 minutes of that actual certification exam time. And then you go through all the prerequisites before that time itself. Make sure your desktop is clear and you don't have any other applications open. All your monitors have been disconnected. They don't allow you to look into multiple monitors. So all those should be switched off and powered off. You should also look to go to your task manager and close any other open applications. Use your cell phone for check-in and ID photo check. That's a common practice that we follow. During the exam, as we mentioned again and again, flagging and marking questions that might require some additional online searches will be definitely a key step that you should look to follow. Skip any question that you're not certain of. If you need to think maybe more than 2 minutes on a particular question, we would suggest that you come back to that question and then answer some of the easier questions before coming back to this slightly trickier question. Always start off with a clean workbook or worksheet for every single question so that you have less confusion when you have to revisit some of the worksheets that you have created. Please try to rename the worksheets with your question number. Again, it will help you if you need to come back to some of your questions and then see if you answered it correctly or not. So renaming the worksheets with your question number will be helpful there. And for any multiple choice questions, make sure to select all possible answers. Otherwise, you'll not be given credit for answering even one option correctly. So please make sure that for any multiple choice questions, you have selected all the possible answers there. So that's what we wanted to cover as part of your certification exam prep. Any questions before we move on?
We got one. Say, is the data analyst certification more valuable than desktop specialist in the work environment? Starting out, will the data analyst certification replace desktop specialist? So I should say the data analyst certification is more advanced certification than the specialist, because the specialist would require 3+ months, and the data analyst requires 6+ months experience, like hands-on experience. And also, if you look into the slides that we'll share later, you will actually see that the data analyst certification includes more hands-on. So it actually including hands-on problems, and you will need to solve those problems within like certain amount of time. So it's also an indicator that that you are more familiar with the exam. And also, I would say those are two different certifications. I think the data analyst is quite a new one. It launched this year only. Previously it was associate consultant exam, and we really think if you, for example, if you take the associate consultant, then you probably won't need to take the specialist. So if you feel you're already ready, like you have enough of knowledge to take the data analyst, I would recommend you go ahead, take the data analyst and skip the specialist one. Feel free, my team member, feel free to add on.
So I think you covered that, Kathy. And since it is such a new certification exam that they have included, we don't know for sure if they will be replacing the Tableau desktop specialist exam with Tableau data analyst. But for now, we haven't heard anything from Tableau saying that they're planning to replace it as such. Does that answer your question, Patricia? Any other questions? We have about 9 minutes. Right.
Yeah, it looks like we don't have any other questions coming. So
Don't feel
Yeah.
obligated to speak up with the group now. You can always contact our email address in the bottom right. If you have any questions you want to ask one-on-one. And some of the tests are hard. I know people who have passed earlier versions of it and didn't make it to later versions of it, and I know that they're changing certifications. So feel free to reach out with any questions you may have, because we've all been through this. Sorry, Kathy, was there something else you wanted to say?
yeah, let's initiate the second poll. We have a ending poll that asking you guys, are you interested in be one of our guest speakers and share your business use cases with this Tableau user group in the future? And if you answer yes, we will receive, we'll be able to see the email and we'll reach out to you afterwards.
And also, I think we'll be sending a follow-up survey so you can weigh in with additional topics for the future, in addition to what we usually let the guest speaker choose a topic, and then we have something else that's a theme along the same lines. And then we're always interested in hearing what topics you all have in mind. Also, this is another group we're involved in that was launched by the Stanford Partnership, the Analytics Leaders Network. So if anyone's interested in joining, you can go to that link. I think you can request membership. Otherwise, reach out to me, and I can help invite you to that. My LinkedIn link in the box.
I think we have so far one response to the poll.
Yep, I will leave the poll open, like for those folks who hasn't response. You can feel free to answer no if you don't want to participate. But we'll, like Adam said, we'll send out the follow-up emails on the questions and also ask the future interested topics as well. And feel free to forward the invitation to people, colleagues, or your friends, like who are interested in Tableau and wants to learn. And we're always welcome new members to join our call.